Welcome to Trauma Recovery Anonymous, the podcast. My name is Richard, and I am your host. I believe that so many of us do not suffer with a mental disorder caused by a past trauma memory. I believe we suffer with a spiritual illness, a broken spirit caused by the energy of a past trauma invading our lives in the present. This hole in our soul manifests in our behaviors, in our reactions, in our thoughts, and our feelings. But that's only the manifestation of the problem. The problem resides in our past. Science tells us it's about cause and effect. Cause is what happened in the past. The effect is how it manifests in our lives. The mental disorder diagnosis. But the problem isn't how we think or feel about something that happened in the past. The problem is what happened in the past. And so I'd like to talk to you about this spiritual solution, expand on this a little bit. So here goes. The Bible tells us to choose no other God but I. The Bible tells us that at the end of our time, only 144,000 souls will be saved. But that doesn't make any sense. There are 3 billion Christians today, and there are some 45,000 different churches and denominations. Aren't we all God's children? And isn't God love? So what is the argument? Well, one, God has 3 laws that we have to embrace, and they're non-negotiable if we wanted to be called children of God, or to be one of the 144,000 souls saved. 1, we have to have no other God but Him. If your God is a mental disorder, if your God is depression or post-traumatic stress, and you focus your whole life on that condition, and you're going around all the time saying, I have depression, or I am depressed, I have ptsd, or I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and you make this your life and your life's work, and you worship this, and you celebrate this, and you use this as a weapon against your family, then God no longer is your God. You may have been born a Christian, you may have been baptized as a Christian, you may be a Roman Catholic or a Protestant or a Presbyterian or any of the 45,000 different denominations out there. But if you've chosen your disorder as your God, as your focus for your life over God, then you have rejected God. If your way of coping with life is addiction, medication, drugs, alcohol, sex, porn, dysfunctional behaviors, codependency, narcissism, if this is your way of living and coping with life, then you have replaced God with this behavior or condition, and you are no longer a child of God. You're a child of depression, a child of addiction, a child of alcohol, a child of porn, a child of selfish self-centeredness. We have to make the choice. Either we are God's children or we're not. It's not about God abandoning us. We abandon God, we reject God, and we replace Him with some other man-made substance, man-made behavior and action. If we want to be part of God's army, His family, we have to choose Him. We don't get to choose something else and then blame Him because it's not working. Maybe your substance is your God. So do you put your faith in our Father to save you, or do you put your faith in that man-made solution, or that man-made state, or that man-made substance, or that state of being to give you meaning and purpose? Are you walking around telling everybody that you suffered a trauma in your past, and this is who you are and what you are, and this is what you celebrate, and you see a therapist every week and you take medication for it, and that's your badge of honor? If your badge of honor is your disorder and not God, you've made your choice. Number 2, God's name is I am. And whatever we attach to His name, we manifest into our lives. Again, God's name isn't I was. His name isn't I will be. His name is I am, and I am alone. If you choose I was or I will be, you're choosing not to be present in the moment. But when we choose His name, I am, and we only attach to it all things that are good and virtuous, so we declare I am happy, joyous, and free, rather than declaring I am depression. or I have depression. We choose, I am life, I am abundance, I am forgiving, I am tolerant, I am patient, rather than claiming I am a victim or martyr, or I am a victim of a past trauma, I am a victim of a past behavior. I can't forgive myself for my past, too many failings, I am worthless, I am hopeless. That isn't choosing God, that is choosing a negative to be your God. And whatever you choose, you get tenfold. The Bible tells us that whatever we ask for in our prayers, we get that tenfold. God doesn't do feelings. Whatever we ask for, we get because he gave us a book of instructions and free will to choose. So if we choose depression and post-traumatic stress and despair and anxiety and bipolar as our God, and we keep asking for more of the same by talking about it, reliving it, experiencing it over and over again, we get that tenfold. They are our prayers answered. There's no point in going around telling the whole world you have depression and how bad it is, and then call out to God to save you. If your 99% of your prayers are depression, he doesn't listen to the 1%. He listens to whatever you're focusing your prayer on. And if your prayer is on depression and post-traumatic stress and bipolar, and that's your badge of honor and that's your identity, that's what you're getting from God. You're your own worst enemy. God wants to give you abundance. You choose the abundance. So if you choose depression and despair and anxiety and fear, you are making the decision. You are your own worst enemy. You are doing this to you. You cannot no longer blame anybody in your past because you are in charge in your present. And you are the one who decides what is in your present today. So if you choose to bring in depression and despair or anxiety and fear into your present, you are your own worst enemy. You are doing all this to you. There'll be people out there who will tell you, no, it's okay to validate your feelings and to be angry. All that does is keeps you stuck in therapy, needing more therapy, more medication. Great business for people outside of you. But if you want to be whole and healed, today you must find a way of letting go of the past completely. Your depression and despair lives off the past. If you bring the past into your present, you are your own worst enemy. Anxiety and fear live in the future. If you bring the unknown future into your present, you are your own worst enemy. But if you can separate yourself from the past and the future and focus on the present and allow God to be your God, you will have a life beyond your wildest dreams. And thirdly, and most importantly, do not harm one hair on the head of a child of God. Our whole Christian faith depends on standing with the Jewish people. When we declare we are Christians, we are declaring, I am an adopted child, a son or daughter of our Father in heaven. I am a sibling to Jesus the Jew, who died on the cross for all of my sins. Jesus the Jew died for me for my salvation. To reject or attack the Jewish people is to attack Jesus the Jew and his descendants. We can't be a Christian and attack the descendants of Jesus. Jesus had a Jewish mother, a Jewish brother and sisters. To the Baptist church, John was a Jew, the cousin of Jesus. If you are a Christian, Baptist or otherwise, Catholic, Protestant, you cannot hold a grudge or grievance against the Jewish people because a Jew gave up his life for you. Our Christian faith is based on having loyalty to Jesus, and Jesus was a Jew, and so if we have loyalty to Jesus, we have loyalty to every Jew walking the planet. We stand shoulder to shoulder with the Jewish people forever. Do not harm one hair on the head of a child of God. Do not say one thing against the Israeli people. Do not harm them in any way. Stand shoulder to shoulder with the Jewish people. If you want God in your life, you need to respect and love God and his chosen people. But also know that the Christian people are his adopted children, and therefore pray, forgive yourself and your family, your friends, your past. Try and live in good faith with those about you. When you look to your friends, your family, or your teachers, or your parents, see God in the other person. See Jesus in the other person. See Christ in the other person. If you are a Christian, you are to look at the person in front of you and see God in them, and then behave accordingly as though you actually were in the presence of God. This is an inside job. You have to change your attitude, your outlook, and your perspective. You have to decide who is your God and who isn't your God. If you continue to choose depression as your God, or mental therapy as your God, or a mental disorder as your God, or post-traumatic stress as your God, or your addiction, or your drugs, or your past as your God, you're choosing the wrong God, and you'll receive that tenfold from that, because that is your prayers. If you want to be free of the past completely, then you must give the past back to its rightful owner. Again, I shared this many times. Today I'm presenting this podcast. For the last week, each version of me over each of those days has been practicing this podcast. Will I speak slowly and clearly? Will I pronounce all my words? Will I carry a message of hope to those listening? Awakening hope that they may see the truth, that nobody outside of them can fix or save them. There's no pill or therapy that can fix or save them. They need to choose who is their God. It's that simple. Who is your God? Is it depression? Is it a mental disorder? Is it your therapist? Is it the medication you're on? Is it the drugs you take or the alcohol you take? Or is it food or sugar or sex or porn? What is your God? What is your go-to to be sane in this world? If it's something of this material world, then you will fail. But if you can accept God on His terms, allow Him into your life and follow His rules, everything will change. He will send a whole host of angels down to you. He will cast out your demons. He will slay your dragons. And He will break the bondage of the past so you can live fully in the present. It's always been an inside job. You have to make the decision to embrace God the Father as your only God, and to respect and revere and honor His name, I am. And to know, as a follower of Jesus the Jew, you must respect and honor all Jews and all Christians. This is not conspiracy theory. This is God's word in action. If you embrace God's rules and regulations, you will live abundantly in His shadow. If you choose some other God, you will suffer under their shadow. Thank you.